22nd chapter. Subject matter: stealing the garments unmarried gopi girls. According to Vedic civilization, the unmarried girls from 10 to 14 years of age are accustomed to worship either Lord Shiva or Goddess Durga for pleasing them in order to get a nice husband. The unmarried girls of Vrindavan, they were already attracted by the beauty of Krishna. But when they were engaged in the worship of Goddess Durga, just in the beginning of the Hemanta season, within bracket, Hemanta season is called just prior to the winter season, bracket closed. The first month of Hemanta season is called Agrahayan, within bracket October and November. All the unmarried gopis of Vrindavan began to worship Goddess Durga, took a vow, and after eating Bhavishyanam, this Bhavishyanam is a kind of foodstuff prepared by boiling together mung dal and rice without any spices or turmeric. This kind of foodstuff is recommended especially to purify the body before practicing some ritualistic ceremony according to Vedic injunction. So all the unmarried girls or gopis in Vrindavan, they used to worship daily early in the morning after taking birth in the river Jamuna. Goddess Katyayani. Goddess Katyayani is another name of Goddess Durga. The goddess is worshipped by preparing a doll by hand. These dolls were made out of the sand-mixed earth from the bank of Jamuna. For worshipping any kind of deity, it is recommended in the Vedic scriptures that they can be made in different kinds of material elements. They can be painted, they can be made of metal, they can be made of jewels, they can be made of wood, they can be made of earth, they can be made of grains, trees of plants. In this way, they began to worship the deity. After worshipping the deity, it is the custom of the worshipper to pray for some benediction. So these unmarried girls of Vrindavan, they used to pray with great devotion from the goddess Katyayani, addressing her, "O the supreme external energy of the personality of Godhead, O the supreme mystic power, O the supreme controller of this material world, O Goddess, please be kind upon us and arrange for our marriage with the son of Nanda Maharaj, that is Krishna." The Vaishnavas generally do not worship any other demigod. Srila Narottam Thakur has strictly forbidden that if anyone wants to advance in pure devotional service, he must give up all kinds of worship of the demigods. Now, here we can see that the gopis, for whom there is no comparison of affection for Krishna, still they are seen to worship Goddess Durga. Sometimes the worshipper of other demigods give this example that the gopis also worshipped Goddess Durga. But we have to see the purpose of the gopis. Generally, people worship Goddess Durga for some material benediction. Here, the gopis are praying to the goddess for becoming the wife of Lord Krishna. The idea is, if Krishna is the center of activity, a devotee can adopt any means to achieve that final goal. The gopis could adopt any means for satisfying Krishna or serving Krishna. That is the super excellent characteristic in the life of the gopis. The gopis thus worshipped Goddess Durga completely for 1 month in order to achieve their goal of life, namely Krishna as their husband. Every day they prayed for Krishna, the son of Nanda Maharaj, to become their husband. They used to go to the bank of the Jamuna to take bath, and while going, all the unmarried gopis assembled together, touching each other's hand and loudly singing about the wonderful pastimes of Krishna. And thus, very early in the morning, they used to go there to take bath. It is the old system amongst the Indian girls and women that when they go to take bath in the river, they slip into the water completely naked, placing their garments on the bank of the river. As such, the portion of the river where the women and girls take bath are not strictly visited by any male member. In other words, it is still the system that the places for taking bath in the river are differently situated for male members and female members. The Supreme Personality of Godhead, knowing the mind of the unmarried young gopis, in order to benedict them with their desired objective, that is, they prayed for Krishna to become their husband, and Krishna wanted to fulfill their desire. And thus, at the end of the month, Krishna, along with friends, appeared on the scene. The name of Krishna is Yogeshwara. Yogeshwara means master of all mystic powers. Clearly, the yogi, by practicing meditation, can study the psychic movement of other men. What to speak of Krishna, he could readily understand the desire of the gopis. Krishna, thus appearing on the scene, immediately collected all the garments of the gopis, got up on the nearby trees, and with a smiling face and joking words began to say as follows: "My dear girls, please come here one after another and pray for your garments and take it away. I am not joking with you. I am just talking the real truth, because I have no desire to play a joke with you, as you are already tired of observing the regulatory principles for 1 month about your Katyayani Vrata, the vow of worshipping Goddess Katyayani. Please do not come here all together. Come alone. We want to see you in your complete beauty. And all of you have a thin waist, but I have requested you to come alone as before. Please comply with it." The girls in the water, when heard from Krishna such joking words, they began to look one another and smile. But they were very much gladdened to hear from Krishna such request, because they were already in love with Krishna. Out of shyness, they began to look upon one another, but they could not come out from the water because they were all naked. While hearing the joking words of Krishna, and while they were smiling amongst themselves, on account of remaining in the water for a long time in naked body, they are feeling cold and shivering. But at the same time, by hearing from Govinda the pleasing and joking words, they were also perturbed in their mind. With great joy, they began to say, addressing Krishna, my dear son of Nanda Maharaj, please do not try to joke with us in that way. It is completely injustice to us. You are very respectable boy because you are son of Maharaj Nanda, and at the same time you are all very dear to us. You should not play joke with us in this way because we are all shivering on account of cold. Kindly deliver our garments immediately, otherwise we are suffering. They began to appeal to Krishna with great submissiveness and address him, my dear Samsundara, we are all your eternal servitors. Whatever you order us to do, we are obliged to perform it without any hesitation because we consider it is our religious duty. But if you put such questions which is impossible to be performed by us, then certainly we have to go to Maharaj Nanda and lodge complaint against you. If Maharaj Nanda does not take action on this, then we shall appeal to King Kansa about your misbehavior. On hearing this appeal of the unmarried gopis, Krishna answered, my dear girls, if you think that you are my eternal servitors and you are always ready to execute my order, then my request is that with your smiling faces, please come alone one after another and take away your garments from me. It is my order that you should come here and take away your garments. If you do not come here, however, and lodge complaint to my father, I do not care for it because I know my father is old, he cannot take any action against me. When the gopis saw Krishna was strong and determined, they had no other alternative than to abide by the order of Krishna. Thus they, one after another, came out of the water because they are completely naked, tried to cover their nakedness by placing the left hand palm upon the vagina. In that posture they are all shivering, and their simple presentation was so pure that Lord Krishna immediately became pleased upon them. In other words, all the unmarried gopis who prayed to Katyayani to have Krishna as their husband was thus fulfilled. A woman cannot be naked before any man except her husband. The unmarried gopis desire Krishna as their husband, and Krishna fulfilled their desire in this way. Krishna, thus being pleased on them, took their garments on his shoulder and began to speak as follows. My dear girls, you have done a great offense by putting yourself naked in the river Jamuna. By this action, the predominating deity Jamuna, namely Varuna Deva, has become very much displeased upon you. Please therefore hold your hands and with folded palms just touch your head and bow down before the demigod Varuna in order to be released from the offensive act. The gopis were all simple souls, and whatever Krishna said, they took it as truth. Therefore, in order to be freed from the wrath of Varuna Deva as well as to fulfill the desired end of their vows, and at last to please their worshipful Lord Krishna, they immediately abided by the order of Krishna and thus become the greatest lover of Krishna, the most obedient servant of Krishna. There cannot be any comparison of the Krishna consciousness of the gopis. Actually, they did not care for any Varun demigod or any other demigod. They wanted always to satisfy Krishna. Krishna thus felt very much indebted to the simple dealings of the gopis, and being satisfied by their pure dealings, he immediately delivered their respective garments one after another. Thus, although Krishna cheated the young unmarried gopis in this way and made them naked before him and enjoyed joking words with them, and just like dolls made them standing before him naked, stolen their garments. In spite of all this so-called misbehavior of Krishna upon the gopis, they were still very much pleased upon him, and they never lodged any complaint against Krishna. This attitude of the gopis have been described by Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu when he prays, "My dear Lord Krishna, you may embrace me, or you may trample down under your feet, or you may make me a broken-hearted, being never present before me. Whatever you like you can do, because you have complete freedom to act, but still, in spite of all your dealings, you are my Lord eternally, and I have no other worshipable object." This is the attitude of the gopis towards Krishna. After this, Lord Krishna, being very much pleased upon them, and as all of them desire to have Krishna as their husband, began to say as follows in order to please them. And they are well-behaved girls. I know what is your desire about me and what part you worship Goddess Katyayani, and I completely approve of your action. Anyone whose full consciousness is always absorbed in me, even their desire for lust is not abominable. As a fried grain cannot be fructified by swaying, similarly, any desire in connection with my loving service cannot produce any fruitful result as in ordinary karma. In this connection, there is a statement in the Brahma Samhita where it is stated that karmani niddhati bhakti bhaja. The meaning is that everyone is bound up by his positive activities, but the devotees, because they work completely for the satisfaction of the Lord, they have no action and reaction of their activity. Similarly, the gopis' attitude towards Krishna, although seemingly it was lusty, but it should not be considered like ordinary lusty desires of ordinary women. Reason is explained by Krishna himself, and giving the example that as a fried grain cannot produce any more growth of plant, similarly activities in a devotional service for Krishna are transcendental to any fruitive result. My dear gopis, your desire to have me as your husband will be fulfilled, because with this desire you have worshipped Goddess Katyayani. So I tell you that during autumn season next, you shall be able to meet with me, and you shall enjoy me as your husband. In this way, Lord Krishna, the son of Devaki, accompanied by his cowherd. Krishna tape number 24, Krishna tape number 24. Just taking shelter of the shade of the trees, he became very happy, and he began to address all the inhabitants of Vrindavan and speak as follows. My dear Soko Krishna, my dear Bharata, my dear Bhadrasen, my dear Siddham, my dear Subal, my dear Arjun, my dear Vishal, my dear Rishabh, just look to the most fortunate trees of Vrindavan. All these trees have dedicated their life for the welfare of others. Individually, they are tolerating all kinds of natural disturbance, such as hurricane, torrents of rain, scorching heat, piercing cold, but they are very much careful to relieve our fatigues and thus give us shelter in this way. My dear friends, I think that these birds, like the trees, are very much glorified in this way because they are so much careful to give shelter to others. They are like a noble, highly elevated, veritable man who never denies giving charity if somebody approaches to ask such generous person for some benefit. Exactly like that, nobody is denied shelter by these trees. All these trees supply various kinds of necessities of the human society, just like they supply leaves, flowers, fruits, shade, foods, skin, flavor, extracts, fuel, bonds, and similar, so many things required in the human society. Exactly the example of noble life, because a noble life means one who has sacrificed everything possible by his body, mind, and activities, intelligence, and words engaged for the welfare of all living entities. The Supreme Personality of Godhead thus was passing on the bank of the Jamuna through all these nice trees, touching their leaves, bunches, fruits, flowers, twigs, and praising their glorious welfare activities. People of different views may accept about these welfare activities in the human society according to their own views, but exactly the welfare activities that can be rendered to the people in general for eternal benefit is to spread Krishna consciousness movement. For propagating this movement, everyone should be prepared, as instructed by Lord Chaitanya, that one should be humbler than the grass on the ground and tolerant like the trees. The toleration of the trees are explained by Lord Krishna himself, and those who are engaged in the preaching work of Krishna consciousness movement should learn lessons from the instruction of Lord Krishna and Lord Chaitanya through their direct disciplic succession. While passing through the forest of Vrindavan and on the bank of Jamuna, sat down on a beautiful spot and allowed the cows to drink cold and transparent water of Jamuna, as well as all the cowherds, boys, and Krishna, Balaram. They also drank the water after being fatigued. This way, because till morning, after seeing the young gopis taking bath in the Jamuna, they did not have any breakfast, and therefore, by this time, all of them became very hungry. The cowherd's boy therefore approached Krishna and Balaram and began to say,